Ahead of you stretches your future like a road leading into the distance. Along that road are ambitions you wish to accomplish, desires you wish to gratify. To bring your ambitions and desires to fulfillment, you must be successful with money. Use the financial principles made clear in this video. Let them guide you away from the stringencies of a lean purse to that fuller, happier life a full purse makes possible. Like the law of gravity, they are universal and unchanging. May they prove for you, as they have proven to so many others, a sure key to a fat purse, large bank balances, and gratifying financial progress. Lo, money is plentiful for those who understand the simple rules of its acquisition. Welcome to The Eighth Wonder, a channel dedicated to making compound interest your best interest. Those slightly altered words are from The Richest Man in Babylon, a classic self-help book on personal finance authored by George S. Clason. He had a career in publishing which focused on maps and road atlases, but in 1926 he issued the first of a famous series of pamphlets on thrift financial success, using parables set in ancient Babylon to make each of his points. These were distributed in large quantities by banks and insurance companies and became familiar to millions, the most famous being The Richest Man in Babylon, the parable from which the book takes its title. These Babylonian parables have become a modern inspirational classic. One of the most interesting parts of the book is the part about the 7 cures for a lean purse, which is what I would like to focus on, exploring each point and how it can be applied in our quest to understand and acquire that one commodity we all strive to gain more of: money, or in the case of the story, gold. In the story, the king and his chancellor were counseling together and realized that most of the wealth in the kingdom was held by a few men because they had the knowledge and skill to acquire the gold and they used it to their advantage. Seeing that such was the case, the king decided to call upon and ask the foremost of these men, the richest man in Babylon, to teach the principles that got him to where he was, to selected men in the kingdom who were teachers, who would in turn teach others until all had learned these principles and are applying them enough to make Babylon the richest of all kingdoms. The man agreed, and to the selected men in the kingdom he taught the following principles, known as the 7 cures for a lean purse. Cure number 1. Start thy purse to fattening. This simply means paying yourself first, meaning that before you start paying bills and taking care of all the things that need to be taken care of, you should set aside 10% of your income that will go towards your savings. The example that is given is that of an egg trader who puts 10 eggs every morning into a basket and in the evening removes 9 of those eggs. What will happen over time? The basket will fill up and the trader will have plenty of eggs in his disposal. Similarly, by saving 10% of your income, you can be able to start building up a nice little nest egg. It is important to note that the 10% comes first and not last. If you decide to cover all your expenses first and then save what's left, chances are you will not have anything left over. Now, some of you watching might be thinking that this is not a practical thing as they are already living paycheck to paycheck, so they don't see how they could afford to save. If this is you, here's what I would like you to understand. This will actually force you to start cutting down on your expenses, and the nicest thing about this is that it becomes a habit. Once you start and you see a bit of progress, it encourages you to continue, which in turn helps you to progress even further along. This can be hard to do, but it's very much possible. Here's a passage from the book on this point. Deride not what I say because of its simplicity. Truth is always simple. I told thee that I would tell how I built my fortune. This was my beginning. I too carried a lean purse and cursed it because there was naught within it to satisfy my desires. But when I began to take out from my purse but 9 parts out of the 10 I put in, it began to fatten. So will thine. Which desirest thou most? Is it the gratification of thy desires of each day, a jewel, a bit of finery, a better raiment, more food, things quickly gone and forgotten? Or is it substantial belongings, gold, lands, herds, merchandise, income-bringing investments? The coins that thou takest from thy purse bring the first. The coins that thou leavest within it will bring the latter. Cure number 2. Control thy expenditures. Make use of a budget plan. This will help you keep track of your expenses and keep your expenditures in check. By sticking to a budget, one is more able to stay disciplined and keep their desires in check. A budget also helps you track your spending, which can help you realize unnecessary expenditures, which you can then eliminate and have a bit more money left over for the things you need. The truth is, we will always have more desires than we can afford to service, but with a budget plan in place, we can prioritize our needs, which can then be serviced by the 90% of our income that we are allowed to spend. We might even find out that we can get along with using less than 90%, which would come as a great advantage. Thou do not all earn the same. Some earn more than others. Some have much larger families to support, yet all purses are equally lean. Now I will tell thee an unusual truth about men and sons of men. It is this: that which each of us calls our necessary expenses will always grow to equal our incomes unless we protest to the contrary. Cure number 3. Make thy gold multiply. So the first 2 points focused on keeping a bit of what you already make and slowly accumulating gold in that way. This next point now looks to accelerate the rate of growth so that you can earn even more using the principle of compound interest. Here's how it works. Once you have a bit of gold saved, you can now use that gold to produce more gold. You would do this by some form of investment which pays you back with interest. This is essentially what investing is. A common way we see this principle being applied is with lending. When you borrow money, say from a bank, you agree to pay back with interest, which means that when you finally pay the money back, you would have paid a certain amount extra, which the bank can then take along with the original amount and lend it to someone new. The difference here is that you would be the one who's in the position to lend out your money. A common way that you can do this is by investing in a business, whether your own or someone else's through the stock market or some other way. To see the multiplying effect, you would have to reinvest your returns, which effectively means that you are growing the amount of money that you can get interest on. In the book, it gives an example of a farmer who, after the birth of his son, invested 10 silver coins for 20 years for his son, which would gain a quota of the principal value every 4 years until maturity, with the money gained every 4 years being reinvested. By the time the boy was 20 years old, the investment was worth 30 and a half coins. Since the boy didn't need the coins, his father kept the investment and eventually passed away. When the son reached the age of 50, he finally decided to go get his investment, which was now worth 167 silver coins, which means that in 50 years, the investment grew almost 17 times. That is the power of compound interest. It is a very powerful force when applied correctly, which is why Albert Einstein called it the eighth wonder of the world. It allows money to work for you. A man's wealth is not in the coins he carries in his purse. It is in the income he buildeth, the golden stream that continually floweth into his purse and keepeth it always bulging. That is what every man desireth. That is what thou, each of thee, desireth, an income that continueth to come, whether thou work or travel. Cure number 4. Guard thy treasures from loss. Once you've started to apply the first 3 principles, you might get excited to see growth and may even be tempted to invest in more prospects that promise even greater returns. When faced with such a situation, you must remember that risk is a big part of investing. It is important to mitigate risk by doing your due diligence, researching and finding out as much as you can about the investment and how much risk it carries in order for you to make an informed decision. You can also consult with others who are experienced and qualified in order to help you to make as informed of a decision as you possibly can. Avoid the temptation to invest in something because most people are doing so and it seems to be doing well, or investing in whatever your friend is investing in that seems to be working for them. You need to develop a thick skin and always seek to protect your gold from loss by making sure that the risk to reward ratio on your investments is in your favor. If there was an investment opportunity that promised very good results but came at a risk of losing everything, would it be worth the risk? I'll let you decide. You can leave a comment below with your answer. I'm interested in hearing what your reasoning for your answer is. Guard thy treasure from loss by investing only where thy principal is safe, where it may be reclaimed if desirable, and where thou will not fail to collect a fair rental. Consult with wise men. Secure the advice of those experienced in the profitable handling of gold. Let their wisdom protect thy treasure from unsafe investments. Cure number 5. Make thy dwelling a profitable investment. It comes as no secret that one of the most valuable things that you can invest in is real estate, or property as some may call it. It comes with a number of benefits that can help you continue acquiring gold. In the case of your own house, it can gain value over time, which you can then use as collateral in order to lend money that you can then employ to acquire more that you can then rent out. You can even earn certain tax breaks depending on where you live and what you do with your house. A house, in most cases, is one of, if not the biggest asset that most people ever own. So if anything, if it comes to it, at the right time, under the right conditions, you can sell your house for a profit. Property is also one of the best ways to hedge against inflation, as prices aren't as easily influenced as the price of stocks. The book speaks more on owning a house in order to have a good place for you and your family to stay, which is a very important part of life. All in all, owning a house can be quite beneficial. Thus come many blessings to the man who owneth his house, and greatly will it reduce his cost of living, making available more of his earnings for pleasures and the gratification of his desires. Cure number 6. Ensure a future income. As we grow old, we eventually get to the point where we cannot work to make a living anymore, and eventually our journey here on earth comes to an end and we die. In both cases, we need to make provision for either ourselves or those whom we leave behind so they are provided for. This speaks to a retirement and life cover plans. If you've done well enough in your investing, then these two things should be well covered and not become an issue in either case. Most people retire with very little money that can only sustain them for a few years if they were to live the same type of lifestyle they lived while still employed, which means that they either have to downgrade massively or try and find other sources of income once they retire. The years of retirement are known as the golden years, but without gold, they don't quite live up to that name. In the unfortunate event that the person with the main source of income dies, in most cases, those left behind are left with a huge financial gap that needs to be filled. So they now need to find ways to bridge that gap. By being diligent in your investments, you can set up yourself and your loved ones to have provision in either case and have a secure future with a guaranteed income. Therefore do I recommend to all men that they, by wise and well thought out methods, do provide against a lean purse in their mature years. For a lean purse to a man no longer able to earn, or to a family without its head, is a sore tragedy. Cure number 7. Increase thy ability to earn. As you apply all the points mentioned, you will gain a better understanding which you can then use to make better investment choices that will bring better returns. It is vital for one to constantly be looking to learn and improve so they are better equipped and their skills become more valuable. This concept is known as investing in yourself. Just as you would invest in anything else in order to get a return, you can maximize what you can achieve by increasing your potential and ability to earn. This can be done by gaining more education, be it formal or informal, through an institution of learning, a mentor, reading, or even watching videos like these that aim at educating people on personal finance and investing. Go ahead and subscribe. One of the most beautiful things about investing in yourself is how it broadens your perspective and helps you realize new and exciting ways to earn gold. This ability, once gained, cannot be taken away from you, but can forever serve you and give you an added advantage. For a man to wish to be rich is of little purpose. For a man to desire to have 5 pieces of gold is a tangible desire which he can press to fulfillment. After he has backed his desire for 5 pieces of gold with strength of purpose to secure it, next he can find similar ways to obtain 10 pieces and then 20 pieces and later 1,000 pieces, and behold, he has become wealthy. In learning to secure his one definite small desire, he has trained himself to secure a larger one. This is the process by which wealth is accumulated, first in small sums, then in larger ones as a man learns and becomes more capable. These are the 7 cures for a lean purse as taught by Arkad, the richest man in Babylon. They are very practical and are set out in a way that makes sense. Use them to your advantage and reap the benefits, then teach them to others so they can use them too. To learn more about these principles, you can buy the book through the link in the description, which will greatly help out the channel, so do check that out. Which of the 7 cures did you like the most? Is there any principle that you would add to the 7 cures? Let me know in the comments below. If you found value in this video, do make it known by leaving a like and sharing the video with a friend. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and make sure to click on the notification bell so you stay up to date on ways to cure a lean purse. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you on the next one. But until then, stay invested.